killing ants and mosquitoes on my lunch break. Hi, I'm Ron. Welcome to the greatest show on earth. If you don't have much going on in your life. Good to be entertaining regardless. Today, the topic's going to be coming from Dragon Martin. He had a couple questions. I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to answer some questions as I get them because it makes interesting video. And he had some good questions. So Martin, thank you. And today's prize that you have won for participating is, thanks dude, this one's for you. So the question is, if does a DMT trip or hallucinogenic trip make it easier to pray to God? And the absolute answer is no. And I'll tell you why. At least this is from a Christological Christian perspective. And what it is all prayer is simply a matter of faith. And it is not about thoughts, feelings, perceptions, emotions, anything. It's raw faith. You send an email. You might have confidence in that email being sent because you know your phone or computer is working and you know everything's right. So when you hit the send button, you have a high, you have high confidence it's going to be sent. Prayer is a lot like that in that it's faith. It is, the machinery is this. It is not anything except belief. And even if you have a very weak belief, this is going to be a Christian perspective, if you have a mustard seed worth of faith, which is, how do I describe it? If I had a seed, a mustard seed is the smallest seed in the garden. This is Jesus describing it. If you just have a mustard seed of faith, you can move a mountain. So it doesn't take any kind of drug experience, hallucination, because when you're on drugs, you can feel like you're in the presence of God and it's easier to talk to Him because you're there. Nope, not easier, and nor is it more effective to be on drugs and pray. To be honest, in my opinion, just the opposite. It's prayer. Some of the best prayers I've ever had, most profound, like healings and all this, for other people, whatnot, is they'd ask for prayer. And I'm like, fine. And it's Isaiah 53, by the whipping Jesus received, we're healed. So anybody's allowed to pray healing for anybody because it's indicating His faithfulness to His word that He's going to do what He says. It's not an indication of my power or righteousness. So I've prayed some prayers that have felt like, it's like me looking at the faces of the people on YouTube, like, it ain't there. You're just in faith, someone's watching. In faith, I've prayed, and huge stuff has happened for them. And it's like, yay God for them being healed. And if I feel something, well, that's okay, but I don't go by that. So that's the difference between doing drugs to talk to God and just having faith. Martin also asked, have I ever met my guardian angel while on DMT or tripping? And this is before I was saved. Oh, by the way, there's construction. Sorry for the noise. The answer is yes. I have seen angels and demons. Demon when I was a child, and it was like a bully beating up a child, just emotionally, just messing with my mind, heart, and emotions. And then when I was, now this is before I knew Jesus. You do drugs, you can, and by the way, this isn't while I was tripping. I just did a lot of pot, and you can knock some doors open that way. Not saying it's right, I just know you can. And I was seeing these lights on people that were tripping, some like a blue glowing light and a red glowing light. It was like Christmas lights all the way around these guys. And I knew it was like two warring angels. The blue were good and the red were bad. So have I seen them? Yes. And not saying it's really good or, well, I don't say it's bad to see them, but I'm like, I'm not going to do drugs just to see them because it's, if God wants you to see stuff, you don't need drugs to see them. And actually, you can ask in faith. It's like, hey, God, there's this spirit realm. I would like to see into it. And you are entitled to see into it. It's part of the restored, renewed relationship between us and God through Jesus that you can't see in the spirit. I'm not going to guarantee you're going to see stuff all the time, and I'm not going to tell you other than if you ask, you receive, and you do it in faith. So does that answer your question? Let me know. Oh, so what else have I seen? Can you see me? Here we go. Some say they have met unconditional love while tripping. And then Martin also goes, blah, 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 blah. But it's also a contradiction to push God into making him love you while tripping. So, do people have a condition of love while they're on drugs? Yeah, sometimes, absolutely. I think, man, I'm going to come down. I hope this doesn't sound like I'm hating, but this, I'll speak of my own past. There are times when, if you do bad, when I did bad, Satan would reward me with physical encounters, mental, emotional, and it was like Pavlov. Pavlov reinforced dogs with a bell, saying every time they heard the bell, they would get fed, and over time, every time they heard the bell, they'd start to drool because they knew they were going to get fed. Satan will reward you when you do bad, but the rewards of Satan are always evil. Even the best of Satan is always going to lead you down a dark path. So yes, you can get loved while you're doing drugs, but the only problem is it's a conditional love, because you will not meet the unconditional love of Jesus because you do drugs. You might meet him because he's merciful, but, and this is where I agree with Martin, you're not going to force God to show up and love you just because you do a drug. That's actually a work of the flesh, the work of law, the work of cause and effect, not faith. And that means, like, if you could do more drugs and be, endure it, you could be more godly. And that ain't right. It is, again, by faith that you meet God and that you receive his love. So I'd have to agree with you, Martin, that you're either getting punked out and drawn into a deception, saying the way to God's love is through DMT, because that means you have to stay high, and that's a problem because you wind up ODing. That's how I wound up saved, because my buddy OD'd and I knew I was next, and I was trying to get the next best buzz, and eventually you build up a tolerance to the buzz and you push yourself too far, and then boom, you're dead. Sorry, don't like it, don't do it. Blah, 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 what else? So, unconditional love. Prayer is always a bit of... Okay, the difference between praying in faith and doing the drugs to reach God is... because Martin also said prayer is a lot like... Drugs, you're like forcing your way into his presence, and prayer in faith is a petition. You're asking him to show up. One's a forced commandment, the other one is an invitation and an asking. And, those are two different things. When he shows up in faith, you don't have to be high. You could be in the middle of a dirt field, just hanging out, and in faith you say, hey, if you're real, would you show up? He's like, yeah, sure, cool, why not? And that actually happens a lot in jail with people who are when you're at the end of your rope, and you always hear people going, and I was at the end of the rope, and I'm like, Jesus or God, if you're real, would you show yourself? And he was like, that's faith. That's raw, uncut, 100% pure faith, and he digs that, and he responds to faith. So that's just the quick little answer to Martin. There was another fella who left some comments on another video. I'll do another video that follows up. So, blah, blah, blah. So pray. I tell you what. You ask God into your heart. You ask him to talk to you. He's going to do it. Even if you're watching this video and you don't believe anything I'm saying, you can give him the Pepsi challenge. He's like, hey, I don't believe in you at all. But if you're real, why don't you show up? Jesus, what you got to say? After that, keep your hands inside. Keep your hands and feet inside the ride till the ride comes to a complete stop. Keep your eyes, ears, and heart, mind open, and wait for him to talk to you, because he's real. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people wasting their time on something that ain't real. I'm not saying everybody's done it right, and I'm not saying everybody's going to do it right. I haven't. But here's the thing. It ain't been all jacked up either. I know I'm not who I used to be. I'm better. I'm not on drugs. I have a lucid mind. My heart is more solid than it was. And even when I do go hard times, because we all go through hard times, saved or unsaved, it ain't never going to stop. I can get through it. And I know it's with him. It's by his Spirit. I've met the other spirits out there. There's power in them, but there's not a love that is unconditional. God's love is unconditional in that once you come through Jesus to his love, it is so pervasive. Even while I'm sober and talking to you, I feel it. It's like a sunny day through a window hitting your heart. And it just lights you up no matter what your surroundings are. So that even if people are mean to you or the world's going crazy with COVID and it's shaken, inside you have an assurity. It's going to be all right because he's eternal, and now because of that, and he's in me, I'm eternal. I want to live a long time, but if I live just to the end of today, that's okay because I will live forever with him, either here or in eternity with him. And both are good. And I'll probably live a long life, and so will you. And eternity starts now and here in this life, in this realm, and you can bring the infinite into this realm so that you live from the infinite in his love. And there's miracles, signs, and wonders that'll follow you. And then when you pass away, it's okay. And it's a welcome transition from one realm that you know to another realm that you've already gotten to know. And that's what makes it fun. That's the end of my lunch break. You have a great one, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.